Bonjour! Hello, everybody. So, it's Kiera Stewart back again with another video. So, I'm going to be reacting to Hamilton, but I'm not going to be doing your normal reaction where they actually play the songs from Hamilton. I'm just going to describe the show and what I think of it. So, there's movies with scenes in them that actually have you know how there's movies that aren't sung through, like there's conversation and there's action and actual scenes? Those are normal movies. But and since I'm blind, I'd need audio description for them. Otherwise, I would get nothing out of the movie. But Hamilton is a great movie for me because it doesn't need audio description. There's absolutely no action scenes. There's conversation, but it's in song. The movie is sung through. Like, the entire movie is songs. It isn't like Julie and the Phantoms, where it's like songs and then a scene, and then songs. It's all songs. And that's about the only thing I want to watch. And it's a great movie because it teaches you, through those songs, it teaches you what Alexander Hamilton had to go through during the American Revolution. And it teaches you what Eliza had to go through when Hamilton cheated on her to marry Mariah Reynolds, which he shouldn't have done. He was going to say no to this, but then he said yes to this. Because he was in the room when it happened. So, I only like to watch Hamilton because of that. It doesn't need audio description. I can get everything out of the movie just by the songs. And I love the whole movie. I've watched it God knows how many times, and I still like it. But there are things that I find weird in Hamilton. Now let's get to that. So, if you watched Hamilton, you obviously know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't seen it, you haven't even heard it, you don't even have Disney Plus yet, download Disney Plus, watch Hamilton, and you'll see what I mean. But first, let me tell you what I think of these weird things. It starts off at the election of 1800, at the very, very end of the movie, where Jefferson, Hamilton, Madison, Burr, everybody in the streets, it seems, and they're all choosing on who to vote. They're like, no. Oh yeah, and I forgot, Adams was also the president. You know, John Adams, second president of the U.S., and King George is like, that's that little guy who spoke to me all those years ago. What was it? 85, that poor man, they're going to eat him alive. You know what I mean, right? So, Adams is president. And the people are like, come on, Hamilton, who are you voting? John Adams doesn't stand a chance, so who are you promoting? And Hamilton's like, it's quiet uptown. And they're like, dear Mr. Hamilton, your fellow Federalists would like to know how you'll be voting. Jefferson or Burr, but if you had to choose Jefferson or Burr, we know it's lose-lose, because it's lose-lose. Nobody likes either of them. They're pretty bad. And then Hamilton decides to vote for his enemy that he fought with 75 times, because he said, I have never agreed with Jefferson once. We had fought on like 75 different fronts. But when all is said and all is done, Jefferson has beliefs, Burr has none. And everybody's like, ooh. And Jefferson's like, what? Hamilton? On my side? He hates me. But what? Yeah, Jefferson's all shocked and surprised, like, what? What? Hamilton? Ha, he's on my side. This is great. And then Burr's like, congrats on a race well won. Well run. I did give you a fight. And Jefferson's all like, uh-huh. Like, okay, that's nice. Hamilton's on my side. Now I can actually fight with him. And Burr was his friend till the end. But he broke that friendship. Because he fought with stinking Jefferson. I don't know. And then Burr's like, well, I lost, but that won't stop me. You know what? I'm gonna duel with Hamilton. Because he broke that friendship. He voted for Jefferson. Burr's like, I can't believe it. A man you've despised since the beginning. You're like, at the very beginning of your obedient servant, he's like, how does an orphan, immigrant, ignorant person, something, I don't know, somehow endorse Thomas Jefferson, a man he has despised since the beginning, just to keep me from winning. You've kept me from the room where it happens, the room where it happens, the room where it happens. You've kept me from the room where it happens for the last time. And the 10 dual commandments, the world was wide enough. Burr shoots Hamilton, and then he expresses his regret, like, I was too young and blind to see. The world was wide enough for both Hamilton and me. And then at the end, Who Lives, Who Dies, Who Tells Your Story, y'all know what it's like if you've seen it. Y'all don't know what it's like to have teary eyes, bawling your eyes out when Eliza sings because, for one, her voice is just beautiful, and for two, her husband died. So there's only one Hamilton left. And it's Eliza. And the happy part is she establishes an orphanage to help raise hundreds of children. Quote unquote. And she gets to see them growing up. And in all their eyes, she sees Alexander. Because Alexander is bold, brave, strong, courageous. And she sees in those little innocent eyes, she sees pride. She sees courage. She sees Hamilton in all their eyes. And so she tells everybody, in their eyes I see you, Alexander. I see you every time. And when my time is up, have I done enough? Will they tell your story? And that part makes me cry. Okay, well, I don't actually tear up, but I'm on the verge, right? I'm constantly wiping my eyes just to make sure they aren't wet. And they aren't, but you never know. And at the end, Hamilton takes Eliza's hand. But Hamilton is not himself anymore. Hamilton's not himself anymore. He's Lin-Manuel Miranda, who acted Hamilton himself. He's Lin-Manuel Miranda. He's not Hamilton anymore. He takes Eliza's hand, but he's not Hamilton. He's Lin-Manuel Miranda. So the Hamilton in him has actually died. Because he's not in his Hamilton suit anymore. But the whole movie itself is great. You gotta watch it. So if you haven't watched it, download Disney Plus. And you gotta wait for it. Yeah, of course you gotta wait. Download Disney Plus. Watch Hamilton and do not throw away your shot!